This is the Alan Cox Show.
On 100.7 WMMS.
35192. You want to text me for something? Another shot for you to text and win $1,000 around 2:30. You can go fund yourself. Last week to do it too, but until the end of this week, you've got up to 16 chances every weekday to grab yourself some of that money. So keep that in mind. I will have a huge announcement for you at 3 o'clock about a show that is coming. I'm very excited to tell you about it. Very excited to give you the first pair of tickets for it.
I've almost let it slip like 8 times.
Oh, yeah?
I don't even know what it is.
Well, I'm going to tell you.
At 3 p.m.
You're going to learn along with everyone else. That's right.
I got,
It's the Bee Gees.
oh my goodness. I put plans in place to go to 2 different concerts this summer that I'm really looking forward to.
Okay.
Backstreet Boys are coming to Blossom. I can't wait.
Now, how do you feel about them? The reason a lot of people don't know this, maybe you do because you're a super fan. The reason that they called themselves the Backstreet Boys is because they wanted the alliteration and because they knew that Backstreet Boys, that they were at best a B-level band behind, of course, NSYNC.
Well,
so
they go
how do
by
you feel about...
BSB, first of all.
Right,
Yes,
B
It's not
stinks
just,
B.
No.
A
BS
B-level
boys,
band behind
yes.
the A-level talent, of course, of Justin Timberlake and whoever the other Fat One and the other guys in NSYNC. So for you, you're like, I don't have it in me to enjoy a superlative band of that genre. I'll just hang out with these scrubs. So you feel okay about that with these guys going back on tour?
Listen, Alan.
Because they need the money?
I know that you're upset about the Polar Blast, but you don't need to take it out on the Backstreet Boys, okay?
Uh-huh.
I'm very excited, and I'm going to see Mustard Vagina, too.
Uh-huh.
So
Halsey.
Yes.
Poundcake calls her mustard vagina.
And don't yell that
I don't
at
call
her.
her
She'll get
that.
upset.
Don't yell that at her. Yeah, I'm actually, so I made
It's a
plans for both of
thing!
us.
Mustard vagina!
promise.
I have a friend, and they think that your vagina smells like mustard!
I
That's
think
wrong.
I think she's lovely. I think she's extraordinarily talented. Where's she doing? The Romo Fijo?
No, she's also doing Blossom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She can't afford Romo Fijo.
It's like
She can't
That's a
afford.
she-
Well, you know, she didn't pay for it, so
Well, fill it.
she could fill it.
Really? 15,000?
Sure. Halsey?
20. I think it's 30,000 now.
No,
Depending
it's
on
not
how they
30,000
and they
Yes.
like where the stage is, they block off a whole section too.
Sure.
So it's like
Yeah.
they're not gonna have you sit behind the stage.
Yeah. By the time summer comes around, she could do that.
I'm also very excited that my friends and I are at the age where we're no longer messing with the lawn. That makes me so happy because I was like, hey guys, if we're gonna do this, like, can we all please just shell out the extra $50 and get pavilion tickets? They're like, oh, absolutely. Like, I'm not gonna be hanging around with drunk teenagers.
I like the
can't do
lawn.
that. I don't like it.
Guess what? There's
Depending-
not going to be any teenagers.
That's what I said, and I was like, now
At
is
the
that
Backstreet Boys,
Yeah.
Well, I was like,
you're
is
going to
that
be the
gonna
youngest
demo-
person there.
No, this is my age group. I
I
don't
know.
know if there's gonna be many.
You're- people my age too.
25 to 35 was my guess.
Maybe.
Maybe up to 40.
And
Up
their
to
kids.
40, yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, that's the thing too. If there were any teenagers there were teenage moms when Backstreet Boys were
right.
popular. They're not teenagers anymore.
Yeah.
Their kids are teenagers.
The Backstreet Men.
Backstreet Men. I'm so excited about it. I can't. I've seen them live for like a split second. They were they played at House of Blues in like 2013, and I worked a shift, so I was like giving away tables and doing everything I could to like try and just get out of there and get into the music hall. And I ended up catching like the last song that they played. So I'm like super stoked to actually see a full
Bye, bye,
concert.
bye.
No,
Is that them?
no, that's what I say to you about our friendship.
So you were able to find multiple friends who agreed to go with you.
Yes,
Yeah.
they are the boy band of our generation, Alan.
Well, they're one of them. Yeah, plenty of them. We've gone over this many times before, and yet it still seems to escape you, the Backstreet Boys, by and large, subpar with respect to.
I actually used to kind of enjoy them, but I remember one time we
You
were
did?
driving somewhere, just because they were, like I knew the songs, but I was driving somewhere and Mary was listening and singing along to a Backstreet Boys song.
It made you
And
happen
ever
every
since
time.
then, I have not enjoyed them.
It
I've been
made,
listening to them all morning, and I'm in a great mood.
it made you hate them more, and I imagine start to hate her.
No, it didn't make me hate her. It just made me just dislike the whole situation. I just like
Anything I
need
like,
this
Bill
song.
doesn't like, so that's just how it goes.
Oh, that
Not
can't be true.
I like a lot of things you like, but I just didn't like that you were just screaming it.
Because I was
loud.
happy. And I wanted to scream
annoying.
it at the top of my lungs. Shout it from a mountaintop. I'm known to do such things.
I mean, pavilion tickets are great if the weather's a little wonky. It's nice to have that fallback there. But I like the lawn. The lawn
I don't like
is where you're going to have the most fun. The
I don't know about that. You're further away. You're not as in the moment. This is like a bucket list concert, though. So I want to be like good seats, closer.
Let me ask you this. Is there a danger that they won't be mic'd?
No.
Then you'll
but
hear them
it's
on the lawn.
Different to see it.
Uh-huh.
And
Only-
not be bumped into and
Yeah.
not be like jostled around.
Right.
I like the lawn for concerts I'm not really that into.
Hate
I'll
to
go
break it to you.
hang out on the lawn.
The lawn ain't going to be that packed for the Backstreet
You
Boys.
don't know
Yeah, I know.
anything.
Yeah. Because of that age group. They're all going to want pavilion seats because they're all of the age where they don't want to mess around with the quote-unquote non-existent teenagers on the lawn. So that lawn, you're going to have free reign out there.
And keep talking smack.
You could set up a little shanty town out there.
Yeah, come rain on
and
my
have fun.
Backstreet Boys parade today. I'm having a good day. I got my
Right.
nails done. I look pretty.
Was that a celebratory manicure after the polar blast win, or was it just coincidental?
Well, I needed one anyway, but these are my real nails, and they're the longest and nicest they've ever looked, so I feel very happy and proud and pretty.
Yeah.
If anybody on the live stream wants to see, they're also on my Instagram story at Mary Santora Comedy. I'm just having a good weekend, guys. I'm just having a great...
you put them on your Instagram story.
Of course I
Yeah.
put them on my Instagram
But
story.
you didn't have a completely good weekend.
Oh, I had a terrible show.
Where
Well,
was this?
It wasn't terrible.
Was this
It was
before or after you
fine.
got your nails done?
I just got my nails done today.
Yeah.
So my show was Saturday in Michigan. It was packed, sold out, 100 people in the back room of a bar, doors shut, like ideal situation for comedy, right?
100 people back of a bar, ideal situation.
Well, it's a separate room.
Yeah.
So like the doors close.
For a
this
bar
is
comedy
for,
show,
for
that's
a
a
bar
good-
comedy
yeah, that's
show.
a
This
good
is the best.
situation.
If you're walking
Right.
into a blind, this is kind of what you can hope for.
Where was it?
It was in Port Huron, Michigan.
Wow, there's the problem.
So
I told you.
we talked about it. I know.
told you about Port Huron.
But it was they were a little chatty, a little like jittery, kind of talkative, but that's not a big deal. When I got there, I talked to the dude who put the show together, and I was like, "Hey man, like a couple weeks ago, I was like, can I bring a feature with me? That way we can split gas and tolls." And he's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna open for you. I'll bring a host." I was like, "Fine." So he brought a very new comic who did like 6 minutes.
A local guy.
No, this is a guy from Chicago. So they drove in from Chicago together. But either way, he was like, he's going to do like 6 or 7. And I was like, and then he's like, and then I'm going to do 40. And then you can do 45. And I'm like, okay, that's a little...
Weird.
not usually.
middle was gonna do 40.
The middle act was doing
Yeah.
40 before me doing 45.
Yeah.
And he did a lot of crowd work to an already kind of rowdy crowd. So he was doing very, it was a little on the blue side, a little dirty, pretty gross. And he would get them all riled up with this dirty crowd work. And then he would get frustrated with them for being talkative, and then he would yell at them. And this happened in like 7 cycles throughout his 40 minutes.
That's
where he
the
would
ebb
like
and the
talk
flow
to
of
them,
his
and then he would yell at
performance.
them. "This is a comedy show. You need to be quiet. I don't understand why you guys." And I'm like, "Oh my god, what's happening?" And so that was for 40 minutes.
Do you want to shout him out?
No, that was like for 40 minutes.
So by the time you got up there, the room was full of maniacs.
They were just running
Drunken
wild
and-
because
yeah.
they basically just learned for 40 minutes that they were allowed to do whatever they wanted. They
Mm-hmm.
can talk, they can get up, they can leave, they can do whatever. And the host guy was so inexperienced. Like by the time the middle act got off stage, half the people got up to go smoke, and everybody's walking around and talking, and the host just gets up while
It's real
people-
live audio from
It was
Saturday night.
so loud, and the host just gets up in the middle of it, talking like at a very not trying to talk over people. He's just like, "All right, guys, your headliner come on stage. Just give it up for Mary Santora," just like that, and people. I literally had to wait for people to walk past the stage before I could get on it because so many people were leaving the room. And then it was just a 45 minutes of fighting with this audience, trying to explain to them, you guys have to be quiet. You have to calm down. It was... Dude, one girl was wasted in the front row, and she was just trying to have a good time, but everything I said, she was like audibly agreeing with.
Say, oh, right. She was like on Seinfeld, where Kramer's girlfriend agrees with heckling Jerry.
I love that. I do that, girl. And she'll turn around and be like, "Do you remember when we did that?" I'm like, "You have to stop talking, please." And then I did, at one point, probably the craziest, not craziest, but one of the weirdest things that's ever happened. A girl, I was talking about how my friend has a terrible husband, and how he's not around, and he's a drunk, and yada, yada. And she goes, this girl just yells out and goes, "Yeah, but she should never tell her kids that." And I was
This
like,
is the front row girl.
this is a different woman. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? And she goes, you don't talk smack about your baby daddy to your kids. You never paint them in a bad light. And then that, like, the crowd started yelling at her, like other audience members.
They're like,
were yelling
actually,
at her.
Melissa,
Dude.
you do that all the time to Kevin, and it's not okay.
That's basically what was happening. She,
'Cause they all know each other.
Well, and I told her, I was like, well, that's wrong. I was like, if he's a terrible person, you shouldn't paint him in a good light if he's not a good person. And then she's like, she went on to this, like, Jerry Springer thing. She's like, he talks crap about me all the time, right to my kid's face, and I would never do that to him. I know. And I'm like,
These people didn't pay money for a ticket.
yeah, they did. Everybody paid $15 to get in.
$15.
And I told the girls, like, listen, it feels like maybe you're going through some things right now, and a comedy show maybe isn't the best time for us to try to work through this. Like,
Might need a quieter office or something.
I'm Maury Povich that situation. I bring her up on stage. I get the
Well, I
baby
told her-
daddy over there.
Baby daddy wasn't there. She was out with
I
her
call
mom.
him. I go-
She was out with her mom, and it was one of those things where I'm like, we can't get into this right now. And then towards the end of the show, I had 5 minutes left. I was going into my closing bit, and the drunk girl in the front was like shouting and talking and turning around. I looked at her. I was like, "Listen, I'm gonna land this plane, but I need you to stop talking for 5 minutes." I was like, "Please shut your mouth for 5 minutes." And then everybody started like applauding, and she's like, "I understand why I better shut my mouth. That's a rude thing to say to me. I'm not sure. I brought 25 people to this show," like getting all entitled about it. And then
There's no way to know what 25 times $15 a head is either. So
there was a table of like older women. There were 6 of them out, probably late 40s, early 50s. They were all divorced, and they were all like celebrating divorce, and they were out. So then those ladies are like coming to my defense, yelling at the drunk girl, where they're like, "Can you just stop? Like, we've been dealing with you the whole time." So then those two started fighting at
and
each
you
other.
can't get
and it
any
was-
good momentum going, even if you finish your actual set. There's no way. At that
And every
point.
time they would get quiet, they felt weird because like I had to either be mean to them or I yelled at somebody or whatever it was. One dude, I talked about roofies at one point, and one guy just yelled. He's like, "Hell yeah!" Like for roofies, it was wild.
Hey, at least it was a roofie positive crowd.
Dude, it was 50 minutes of straight fighting. It was like exhausting. It was frustrating. It got to the point where when they were yelling at each other, the cougar ladies and the young girl were like going back and forth. I kind of just stood there and I was like, we don't have to keep going. I was like, if you guys want to be done with the show, we can be done with
At
the show.
least you got to see beautiful Port Huron, Michigan,
Right.
in the moonlight.
Yeah.
I got $1,000 to give to you
no
here.
Bay City.
A chance for you to go fund yourself. Good luck.
Hey, it's Rover. Go fund yourself. We have your shot at $1,000 now. Text the nationwide keyword SAVE to the number 200-200. You'll get a text confirming entry plus iHeartRadio info. Standard data and message rates apply in this nationwide contest. That's SAVE to 200-200. Good luck and go fund yourself from 100.7 WMMS.
Boy, it is no Bay City, is it? That is true. Once you get up into the Sag-Nasty Bay City area, you're loving life, baby.
Yeah, it was a frustrating show at best.
Did you drive
Earned your money.
home that night, or did you stay in a hotel?
I was supposed to stay with a friend who I ended up staying in a hotel, and then I had brunch with a friend the next day. But like, here's what's even more frustrating about that is sitting there seeing 100 people in there at $15 a pop, and then knowing that the dude who tanked the show made $1,200 on that show, and I'm just like,
Why'd he make all that money?
because he was the comic producer, booker, opener.
Ah, I see.
So he put it together. He sold the tickets. He
Sure.
did all of that. And I was just like, he got off stage. He's like, man, they're rowdy. And I kind of snapped at him. And I was like, that's your fault. I was like, you basically trained them that it was okay to talk for 40 minutes. And after the show was over, we talked about it. I was like, when you got them to calm down, you went right back into crowd work. And this guy's been doing comedy like 10 years. He's like, I know I should have done a bit, but I do these rooms all the time. He produces shows around Michigan. He's like, I do these rooms all the time, so everybody who comes to the shows already knows all my bits. And I wanted so badly to be like, then book other people.
Or write
You
new
don't have
bits.
to do either write more material or don't put yourself on every show. Or if you are going to put yourself on every show, host it and do 10
What was his
minutes.
name again?
I'm not doing that.
Yeah, but if this guy gets paid at the end of the night, the lion's share of whatever, he doesn't frankly care how it goes.
Pretty much.
He doesn't care. Why would he?
He was just like, oh, that was a rough one. Like that. And I was
That
like,
was a rough one.
and I was
As
like,
he's sitting there counting his
right,
money.
and that's what I'm
That
just
was a
like-
rough one. Ooh,
Yeah.
it looked terrible for you. Oh, my goodness.
I'm not trying to talk smack on the guy, but it is one of those
Well,
things
you're not,
where I'm
'cause
just
we don't
like,
know who he is.
Well,
Yeah, what
no,
was
but
his
it
name?
is one of those things where I'm just like,
Come
Why
on
does
out.
Bill want you to give his name so
I
bad?
just
because
think
he's
it's
a
funny.
drama queen. He wants gossip to happen. That's why.
I see.
Because it's funny.
But it was one of those where walking into it, I was like, oh, this is going to be great. This is going to be cake. Walk up, do your time. They're sold out. They're into it. Sell some merch, go home. And it was the exact opposite.
Never goes that way.
Well, sometimes it does.
yeah.
And when you get to like a pumped up, they're there for comedy. They know what they're expecting. It's a small town. They don't really have a lot going on.
When you did the show in Niles with one Bill Squire and Mike Polk, how was that show?
Fantastic. Also different, though, because that's a fundraiser show. People are there to raise money for a cause, not to just get drunk on a Saturday
but also,
night.
there were still a lot of drunk people there. It could have.
Yeah.
It can always become that, but I'm not going to do that to a show.
No, the producer, whoever is producing the show, makes all the difference in the world, 100%. But if anybody saw in my Instagram story, I kind of went off about Hecklers because, like, the guy who yelled out about the roofies, I combated, went back and forth with him and made just some off comment about him, like being on house arrest or something, and like the only reason why he hasn't gotten up from the table yet is because his ankle bracelet will go off, and like just going back and forth. And at a couple different points throughout my set, I did that with different people because they shouted first, and I was trying to make it very clear to people that heckling at a comedy show never helps it. Because that guy came up to me after and was like, "You're welcome for getting those big laughs," and
You're welcome.
I was like, "You could have just sat and kept your mouth shut." And I have plenty of jokes that are better than our interaction. I was like, and then I had to tell people the reason why that happens is because the comedian is good at their job. No heckler has ever helped the show, ever. In the history of comedy, a heckler has never made a show better.
But they're drunk. You're not going to appeal to their logic when they're hammered.
I know, and then it's like why even have this conversation? So I'm just like, actually no, but I wanted to get into it with him, so instead I just yelled on my Instagram story.
You should have asked him if you could get on his mailing list.
Right?
Hey, thank you, man, so much. Can I get your email?
Appreciate
You
you.
got any merch I can buy? Any posters? See,
So-
that's what you should do. Is that one of those people should get themselves a reputation for being the area's premier heckler,
Okay.
right?
Sure.
Because if the middle guy's just going up there, he's some local schmuck who doesn't know what he's doing. You should. One of these guys should be at all these shows. You know, Port Huron's a big heckler, and then whoever they book's got to go up against this guy.
Like a battle?
Yeah,
Battle Royale?
why not? With
Dude,
cheese.
that's what it was, basically.
Sure.
Or you could handle the situation like Harley Quinn did in Birds of Prey.
What was that?
You jump off the stage onto their legs and break them.
But then what if I break my legs?
Well, if you do it, if you work on your technique and believe in yourself, you'll be fine.
You went to
Okay.
go see the Harley Quinn movie?
Yeah, it was great.
I see everybody talking about how good
loved
it
it.
is, but then I'm reading all these articles about how it's a big flop for DC.
Well, it's because people didn't go see it because I think they did a bad job of marketing it. I had no idea that it was a hard R going in. So I sit down, and then Margot Robbie starts dropping F-bombs right away, and I'm like, this is R-rated? This is going to be great. And it was. I loved it. It was really violent and ridiculous and just what you want from like an over-the-top comic book movie.
I want to see it because I like that Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
She's great. And
Ooh,
then
she's foxy.
What's her name? The girl that's Smollett.
Jussie Smollett.
It's not
Jussie Bell Smollett.
Something like it's not Jussie.
Jussie.
I don't know her name, but she's hot. She's real hot.
Jesse?
No,
With an E?
not Jessie.
She was in one of those Alien movies.
Yeah, I put her in the Instagram hotties today
All right.
because she was so hot.
What's her name? Journey Smollett
Journey,
Bell.
yeah,
She's like Jussie Smollett's brother. Right?
probably sister.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I was like, is he doing that on purpose?
Bill, I'm not going to assume
Sibling.
what people's
Yeah.
pronouns are, all right? Perhaps she's, she's Jussie Smollett's sister.
Yeah, she's real hot in that movie.
All right, well, there you go.
Loved it. Thought it was great.
You know, if she was that great, she would have found a spot in that movie for her brother.
No,
He's fallen on some hard times.
That's all right.
She should have put him in there. He could have been another bird of prey.
What's a bird of prey? A hawk?
Exactly.
An owl?
Vulture.
A vulture?
Yeah.
Don't all birds prey?
Yeah, don't all birds hunt?
Huh?
Whether
I
it's a
mean,
worm or
worms.
a seed.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know if you hunt seeds. That's
You
more
can't
gathering.
hunt a seed
hunt seeds.
or berries.
Oh.
But if you're eating worms, you're hunting. Canary, the bird of prey.
There you go. The canary. Yeah. Or like a hawk.
That's what I
right?
said, a hawk.
A bird of prey is something that
Dives.
for something living, probably.
A pelican.
Is a pelican a bird of prey?
They prey on fish
They
and
prey
they
on
die
fish,
for
yeah.
it.
Raptors.
I'm gonna
They're carnivorous.
a pelican?
Eagles.
Okay.
An eagle is a raptor.
Raptors are in Toronto.
There are some in Toronto, yes. Yes, they're exceedingly tidy up there. Hawks, osprey, owls. Seen an owl grab a
love
mouse?
owls, yeah.
Do you? Because
They're
of the
cute.
little mortarboard? The little,
Did you see the
the
video?
tassels and the glasses?
That's been going over the owl running. It's like
No.
It's like back and forth. It's really
No,
cute.
I have an ad blocker on my browser and my phone that apply only to owl videos.
Really?
Yes.
Of all the things.
I have very specific likes and dislikes.
Well, Alan,
And I don't want any owl running videos blocking up my feed.
who hurt you?
You stink! I
One of those good jokes that doesn't need a heckle.
Those were the ones I was telling. I cannot imagine. I was so confused as to why they weren't going well. A lot of bird puns.
Guys, I'm up here doing my best owl material. I don't know what's... I will be back. How's that one hit you? Good night. All right, let me break. I'll have passes for you for the big tattoo convention that's coming, February 21st through the 23rd, the Cleveland Tattoo Arts Convention downtown at the Convention Center. That is a great place to have a convention, by the way, I have found. They book a lot of them at the Convention Center, so they're smart. 35192, you want to text? Anything else? You want to watch the show or you want to check out the Alan Cox Show Instagram hotties? You can get to alancoxshow.com.
The Alan Cox Show on 100.7 WMMS. And everywhere you go on our free iHeartRadio